Hi, how are you?
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. So, thanks for joining us on the Wellness and Wahala podcast. So, for those of you guys that are joining in and listening for the first time, wellness, we talk about public health and wellness tips, but also current affairs. Wahala and Wahala Nigerian Pidgin English means issues and problems. So, we give you great tips on how to overcome various Wahalas. And today, my special Jeremiah Knight, he is a diplomat. The diplomat, he's known as the diplomat. So y'all, not only is he smart and intelligent and one of the highest top diplomats, he just got promoted as a deputy chief of mission, and he'll talk about that more when he tells you more about himself. He's also a diplomat chef. He's well known for, throwing great parties and cooking for us. At my last post in Jamaica, Kingston, he is a big brother. He is a friend. He's also a pastor of our.
Please.
Yes, so you are our anointed pastor. We have a intercession Wednesday prayer group, and he started that years ago. And he does so many great things. He's extremely humble. And I just thank you, and it's a great honor to have you, our honorable DCM diplomat chef Jeremiah Knight. So over to you. Let them know who you be.
First of all, I have to tell them how much I pay you to say all that stuff.
You never pay me, yo. I never chop anything, you guys. I never chop, I they say I'm for free.
No, I mean wahalas. Wow. We do have to deal with those from time to time. But about me, you've done a lot of big introduction. At the end of the day, I'm just the youngest of four boys from Connecticut with Caribbean heritage. That's been doing this diplomacy job for the last 16 years.
Hey, 2 decades. You see, I told you guys, I'm not big boy.
Well, I started when I was 14, so that's what.
Okay, no problem.
No, and so it's so I just actually literally did a YouTube channel interview for a local Jamaican production, and that we were having kind of the same conversation about life and this and that, and some of the things I shared, which would be I think relevant for you also, is the importance of going after your passions, but understanding that there's a time and a place for everything, right?
So time and season. Hey.
Right. And so you can't rush things. You always have to wait until the moment presents itself, Mm-hmm. And so that's how my life story has been, where I never give up. For instance, I give you a perfect example. My parents, I was applying for Johnson & Wales. My dream was to be like a chef. And my parents were like, no, you got to do something more. Your brother's an artist. You got to do something more stable. And so, I went to school for business marketing and wound up doing a master's in international affairs, but I never gave up the passion of food, right?
Nice.
My grandparents had restaurants. My mom's a great cook, and cooking. My uncle was a master chef in London. So
it's in the blood, isn't the blood?
Of course. And you can't never give it up and never do things just to run after money. And I think that was one of the main things I said. Even my job doing diplomacy, I was laughing because I told people when I signed up to become a U.S. Foreign Service officer, I didn't even know how much I was going to make until my actual salary got into my bank account the first time. Because I didn't even care. To me, it didn't matter what they were offering me. What mattered to me was the experience and the opportunity. Right?
Yes.
And so I think when people start just going after what they're passionate about, there's opportunity. So this whole you brought up 3 areas which I can touch on this podcast. About the food, about my job, about spiritual life, and let's just go that change. So my food, I have been cooking Sunday dinners ever since my grad school time, because I had moved into grad school. That was the first time I actually had my own apartment.
Where?
University of Maryland, College Park.
Nice.
Yeah. And so on Sunday, I'll never forget, I had a Trinity roommate. And with me, my family, my mom, my grandmother, my grandmother was a pastor. And so people were always over our house on Sunday. There was never you never had dinner by yourself. Like dinner was always something that you shared with people. So I couldn't imagine myself living in College Park, Maryland, having a dinner by myself on a Sunday. It just didn't make any sense.
Yes.
So, I gathered some friends that I knew from the university, some of my undergrad friends that were in town, my cousins that lived in Maryland. I was like, you know what? I'm a cook on Sundays, right? And
we're like, college people, free food, no problem.
Yeah, and that's the key point. I never told anybody to do a potluck or anything. I'm like, I'm just gonna do this because this is how I want to bless people. I love to just bless people through my kitchen, right?
Yes.
And that literally turned into, from the time I was 21 until now, where I don't eat Sunday dinners by myself. Right?
Oh my goodness.
And
I can testify, it's good though. Hey.
Yeah, you've participated in some of these culinary explorations.
Plenty, whether they invite us or not. So Thanksgiving, it used to be fights. Like even at the embassy, people say, but I didn't get an invite. I said, you're not VIP. Okay, I'm on his VIP list. How about that? He don't have enough room in the house for all of us. Okay, next time.
So what happened was, like, it would become, even when I joined my job as a foreign service officer, I would just cook. And not only would I start just cooking meals on Sunday, inviting people to become part of my family, but I would start picking up on cuisines from everywhere I've traveled to, because I just have this knack where if I'm around the culture, I just pick up the food. It's not hard for me to do that, right?
Nice.
And so one day, I'm living in the Dominican Republic for my second time around there. And one of my good friends owns this really like, glossy Who's Who magazine there called Santo Domingo Times.
Hey.
And she says to me, I've heard you've been having these Sunday dinners all the time and you never invite me, right?
Uh-oh.
So I said to her, I'm going to invite you. And she didn't know. She's Cuban that migrated to the Dominican Republic. She didn't know that I knew that part of her grandmother was from Scandinavia, from Norway. Nice. So I made a whole Scandinavian dinner, and I invited her and a couple of friends over for dinner that night. And she was shocked that I knew that she had Scandinavian dinner, family, and they ate and participated. And she said, Jeremiah, I'm thinking about making a special edition of my magazine related to food. And would you be interested in being featured in there? I said, but you're actually having real chefs there. I'm not a chef. I'm not a real chef. So
you
why would you
are
put
a
me
real
in this
chef. Oh my goodness. So that's how you got featured in that magazine.
And so, but then I said to her, so listen to this. Listen, this is how, when I say about timing.
Yes.
2 years prior, I had come up with this idea called Diplomat in the Kitchen about a blog that I want to do about culinary travels around the world.
Nice.
And it never fully worked out, but I kept all the information because I said, one day I'm going to make this happen.
It gonna happen. God's timing.
Yeah, exactly. So then after I said, if your magazine, your special edition is a success and you want to make it into a full-fledged, magazine, let me know, because I have an idea for a column, right? Sure enough, the magazine was a big hit. She decided to make it into the first really high-class, glossy food magazine in the Dominican Republic called Manjar, which means delicacy in Spanish.
Manjar.
Yeah.
And, wait. Let me stop him. Let me tell you, he's bilingual. He speaks fluent Spanish. Not only can he cook well, he just came back from the gym. Now, handsome guy. Okay, let me just drop that gem. Okay, continue. Sorry.
So she comes back and she says, Jeremiah, do you have an idea? I want you to meet the editor-in-chief. Do you have an idea drafted already? I already had the concept drafted from 3 years before.
Hey, preparation.
That's right. So I print it out and give it to them, and they take it, right? And so the first thing that people started asking me about, well, are they paying you to do it? I didn't care whether they were going to pay me to do it or not. It was exposure. It was experience. I could put that on my resume that I write for a food magazine, and it helps build me up in this whole area of food. And I said, not only that, they would start featuring me on their Instagram account and their magazine and stuff like that. So then the whole idea started picking up.
Yes.
So to continue, when I went to South Sudan, I was having a lot of downtime because you're locked down. You can go out in the streets and that. And I realized that the magazine was doing a lot of edits to my original piece because, people get food magazines because they just want to see the recipe and the food. But the whole stories, they don't really want to read a whole bunch of stories, right?
We want
Instead
to
of
see the food.
right. And so instead of getting upset and annoyed about how they edit, I said, you know what I'll do? I'll write from my heart. I will let them edit whatever they want out of it. I will save the original writings and I'll start making them into a book.
Nice, nice. Your Diplomat Chef cookbook, which we've been waiting for years.
Yes, and so it's coming.
Yes.
So Diplomat in the Kitchen is going to be the name of the book.
Nice.
And it's coming out soon because I finished all the edits. I'm giving it to the official editor. All the legal stuff is being worked out. But it say all that to say that continue your passions. It doesn't always be that your passions will directly give you money right away, finances, but it makes you happy and a more well-rounded person.
Yes. And your purpose would eventually, I think, lead you on a pathway to prosperity anyway, but I mean, it's part of your passion, so it's not a big deal to you because you're already doing well, just like, you know, the name is Diplomat in the Kitchen. He's a diplomat, you guys, so he's already a big boy, and he's not doing it for the money. I can testify. I have testimony for days on his Thanksgiving meal, on his Sunday, you know, brunches. He is wonderful, and you know, I think it's good because, you know, you say they used to have that show, that famous show on CNN. I forgot the guy's
Anthony Bourdain, right?
Yes, Anthony Bourdain, and until he passed away, you know. But I'm like, you need to be like the new Bourdain, like CNN. If y'all listening to my podcast, y'all need to be one of my sponsors. But y'all definitely need to hit up Diplomat Chef. I think it'll be so cool because, one, you not only cook, you know, from your Caribbean background, your American background, because you have friends and you have been posted in so many different countries, you cook a wide variety. You thought of, you know, out the box, you know. So we never even had a time, you know, for when my mom to come down. I told you we still need to cook the Nigerian jollof because that's the best jollof. Because we have jollof wars, Ghana jollof, Senegal jollof. All of you guys, you're not number one. Nigeria is number one. So we're going to give him that secret recipe. Okay? So at the end of the day, I know there's going to be fights, but because you have been in Sudan, Dominican Republic. I mean, you've been all over. You have friends from diverse backgrounds, and I think it's just going to be so cool because, and you know, that's what's going to stick out compared to other cookbooks. Most cookbooks, they, you know, focus on a particular region, or because you're part of like one or maybe two cultures, you just focus on that. But you pretty much focus on different cultures and different nations across the world. So I think that is just really going to be a great bestseller. You know, I decree and declare it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
New York Times best-selling list, because, you know, I have tasted the food, but because it's very diverse, like nothing like that exists, you know. So, you know, people understand, you know, being a diplomat is hard, but then taking time out of your extra, like that's your community service, especially to those community service officers. You laughing, but look, I didn't used to cook. Look, when you say you cooking and you invited, I'm like, huh, thank God I ain't gotta go do groceries. I ain't gotta cook this one. If y'all got extra, I'm taking. But I'll be nice, yeah. I don't just hog. I'll be like, Jeremiah, I'll bring some drinks or something. You know what I'm saying? So I won't be like I'm stealing all your food. But his food, you all, I am number one testament that it is so good, and you know, everybody looks forward.
And then, you know, one of the most coolest things about the Sunday, so, you know, we would do culinary exploration. So we would pick one country this week, we pick another country this week. But one of the most important things was just the fellowship and the people coming together to laugh, to have a good time and eat. I love that. I wouldn't even hardly, you know, I hardly even ate during my Sunday dinners. I like watching other people eat.
Yes, because you take all that time and you make it look so good and perfect. So after we pray, he's mostly socializing. We doing the eating, and he's asking us, "Are we okay?" Like, it's really a blessing. I don't think you know. And I just really want to take this time to tell you thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for me and so many families and people you have touched, you know, in all your diplomatic posts. You know, it really does a lot to just bring more of us to bond, you know, outside of work, and then also good food. I mean, that's the best way to bond anywhere. It's food.
Yeah, food is food, and food is one of the best diplomacies there is. Culinary diplomacy shows the
Mhm.
history, the story of people, and provides a good common ground to do cultural interchange. So, like, I really, the power of food is so, it's very, very important, and it brings people together that have diverse backgrounds that would never necessarily meet, and everyone wants to be a champion of their own national cuisine.
Yes.
And so it brings the national pride. I mean, it's amazing. So food is just amazing, and I want to capture that. That's what I
Mhm.
try to do on Sundays. So apart from our job every day, I do public diplomacy, but I mean that's true enactment of public diplomacy.
But that's like you have like the best of both worlds because you have culinary diplomacy, public diplomacy merged together is just, I think, just the best of both worlds, and just great talents that draw you closer to people, both the foreign host government and really being a lifeline and a bridge, between the U.S. government and also the foreign government of post wherever you're at. That, I mean, food is the best way to really get people to open up, food and good drinks and a good conversation. So you are number one at that. Like, I
I
don't
mean
know
that that
anybody that
that's
does it better.
that's what Jesus did. When he not only preached to people, he broke bread with his disciples, right? So like,
Yes.
food is an even important part of your religious experience. It's such an important part of life.
Yes, 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 exactly. And that's communion. Look.
Yeah. Really, it is. It
It's,
really is
you
amazing.
break bread, you drink some good. And he has some good wine. Don't you got a wine collection? We need to talk about that. Why are you laughing?
I do like, because that happened when I lived in Chile. I started going to the vineyards and this and that, and get exposed to wine, and then start developing a whole the appreciation for what wine is, and yeah, and then you have to incorporate that into like your meals, right? So
Yes. So how many countries have you lived in? Have you been
ha-
posting in as a foreign service officer?
have I lived in? I've lived in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries
Six.
for the foreign service. Yeah.
Nice. See, so you
Yes.
lived in 6 countries and you've been posted to 4 countries, and you speak how many languages? You speak like 3. You speak Jamaica
Yeah.
Patois,
And
Spanish, you speak
then I studied
English.
French for like about 12 years, but the French is not that great anymore.
Hey, ça va? Comment ça va? That's all I know.
But I mean, it's really, I really learned this whole stuff. Like my mom, it's so funny. Like my mom if she made a lasagna for us, she would make at least 2 for a guest. And then like on Sundays after church, because like I told you, my grandmothers are pastors, so we would go home,
Yes.
and there would always be somebody from church that would be over our house and having dinners at either my parents eventually became pastors too, and so it would be like at either their house or my grandmother's house. There was always somebody there on a
Yes.
Sunday, and so like we grew up with the whole point that what God has given us is not only just for us, but the importance to share with other people.
To bless. Well, your food is a blessing. I look forward to the Diplomat and Kitchen cookbook, which I claim that is going to be a.
Hey, that's
So,
right.
so let people know how they can get in contact with you. How can they follow you? How, are you going to do a book tour? Like I know now everything is locked down because of the pandemic, but you can still do virtual launches and live shows. Like, what can we look forward to? What's in your future plans?
So for starters, I mean, my Instagram account, I tried to put up recipes step by step in my stories part that are saved. So you can check me out at JERRY_JAK. That's Jerry_JAK on Instagram. Or if you want to get in contact me via email, it's easy. It's just diplomatinthekitchen@gmail.com.
Nice.
And so those are the 2 main ways.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So before we conclude, I would like to give you all the African proverb of the week. And Jeremiah, I love when he speaks French, and I mean when he speaks Spanish. I would like you to close in Spanish, of course, translated to English for those that don't understand Spanish. But the African proverb of the week, of course, has to deal with food. It says, if a chicken does not dig, it does not feed. And it's from Cameroon. Once
Oh,
again, the African proverb says, if a chicken, that's pollo in Spanish, I believe,
yeah.
does not dig, it does not feed. So you have been digging. You have been sowing seeds through the years. You have been feeding people, and you have been spreading your love. So I hope, this is your harvest season. I believe that you've already sowed so many seeds in the ground. You don't know it, but, you have touched so many lives. And I'm a testament of so many people that have been touched by your love, by your food, and, and by your compassion and your friendship. So I hope this is harvest season
Oh,
for you. So please close out and for our fans, our wellness and Wahala fans.
hello,
And
Spanish.
yes, in Spanish.
Well, bueno, mil de gracias por la invitación. Me siento muy orgulloso que yo tengo un amigo como tú que me invitaste a competir en este programa. So I was just saying, 1,000 thanks for inviting me to the program, and I feel really honored to have a friend like you that would make space for me and have me on this program.
No, it is my honor. Diplomats in the kitchen. You guys look out. Love you.
Love
Thank
you
you.
too. Take care.
Take care. Bless up.
Bye bye.
Bye.